All right, everybody, welcome to the Public Works Committee meeting. It is Tuesday, October 11th, 2022, and we are meeting by Zoom, and present today is Councilman Randy Allison, Councilman Vincent Palizzi, myself, Bonnie Katz. Also present is John Sanders, our city engineer. We have Mike Miller from the Water Authority, and I know I saw Scott Livermore somewhere here. Yes, there's Scott Livermore. We also have Eric Smithall, who is, you're the engineer, right, for the Water Authority, Eric?
Correct.
I mean, I saw you a long time ago, and I think I hit everybody. We have Chris is our IT person. Of course, we have our wonderful Janice Frank, our city clerk, who keeps us on our toes. On the agenda today, we have 6 items, and we're going to start with number 1. The Williamsport Water Authority updates by Mike Miller. Mike, I really wanted to touch what's going on with the Water Authority so the public is aware of so many things that they've questioned, and I don't care how many times we present it to the public still has a lot of questions all the time. And I just wanted to reiterate some of the things, but the one thing that I do before we go into your discussion is to make it known that this is a federal mandate, that this is something that is not done just for the heck of doing it. The government is making everybody, every city and borough and everybody responsible for their stormwater across the country. And we felt as a city, when we've had so many meetings, and Mike, I don't remember how many years ago this started, but this started several years ago with committee meetings and trying to figure out the best way for the citizens of the city of how we were going to accomplish this. If the city took this over, which would have been really impossible, we don't have the equipment to do this, number 1. Number 2, it would have been a tax on the citizens, and the nonprofits would not share in the responsibility of stormwater. When we went through all the negotiations with the Water Authority has the equipment, they have the knowledge, they have so many other things in place to do this. Plus, this would be a fair and equitable way of accomplishing what has to be done with stormwater. And Mike, did I say this correctly?
You did. And to your first point of this is happening everywhere, I just recently attended the PMAA, Pennsylvania Municipal Authorities Association conference. And it's a conference where we go to get continuing credits to keep our licensures up, since Eric and I and other members of the staff are licensed. And the one overwhelming theme there, talking to other water sewer authorities, was where are you at in the stormwater process? And it went from previous years where people were talking about saying, oh, hey, we might get this stormwater too. It seemed like every other authority was in some stage of either acquiring or looking at taking over the stormwater system from their municipal governments. So your point is very well put. I think this is a trend across Pennsylvania that's just going to continue to happen, is that sewer and water authorities are going to be taking over stormwater systems, and much of the presentations at those conferences are being tailored to how do we do that. I would tell you that Williamsport, while not the first, we're out there a little bit earlier. I think they're hitting the bigger urban areas and then slowly moving out into the smaller communities. I know they picked up a lot in the Philadelphia area and Scranton. We spent quite a bit of time talking to Wyoming Valley West about how their stormwater fee is going. So it's something that we're seeing across the state. So we did take it over not take it over, it was transferred to us with the idea that we would be charging a fee for the services. And this catch, you're correct, that does pick up the nonprofits too. So whereas this normally would have been taking out of real estate, which again hits the property owners, this time we pick up the nonprofits in our community too, which is oftentimes some of the bigger sources of impervious surface. We've created our rate based on impervious surface. So we've taken the normal household, the plain old one single family household in the community. We came up with an average of 2,711 square feet of impervious surface for that single household, and we use that as our base ERU. So then commercial, industrial, businesses, nonprofits, then we have actually mapped out their total amount of impervious surface, and we divide it by that 2,711. And that gives us the number of ERUs at which we charge them $10, which is the base fee for the ERU, $10. So what you're going to see here in the next month coming up as we go through our regular billing cycles is these stormwater bills will start to hit every parcel in the city of Williamsport. So every parcel, whether you have a house on it, a business, a plain lot, we're going to be seeing those bills go out for the $10. If you have more than one ERU, that $10 will be multiplied by the number of ERUs which we've mapped out on your parcel of land. The other thing that we do have for the industrial and commercial users, we have a credit policy, which they can review on our website. Much of this information is presented on a special tab in our website where they can look at the credit policy. And if they have existing BMPs, which a significant number of them do, we can also give them credit for those existing BMPs to reduce their bill. For the federal mandate that you talked about a little bit, Bonnie, we do have the Chesapeake Bay Pollution Reduction Plan, which we've been plugging away at actually pretty diligently all along. And we are on our last 4 project areas, the design for the BMPs, which if our calculations are correct, and we've been pretty good at getting them accurately, predicting them accurately, we should be satisfying that federal requirement, which between us and the oil sock is about worth $5 million of construction funds. And we do have to thank Mr. Sanders and the city because they're working with Delta Development to put in a grant application for constructing those last 4 BMPs. So we're pursuing grant funds, hopefully to help everybody out with that. And I hope we're successful in getting some assistance from the state or the feds to put in these projects. Is there anything else I'm missing there on stormwater that I haven't touched? If the public has questions, they can call, and they can either refer to our website or they can give us a call. Our phones, we've got them pretty well handled now, answering phone calls pretty regularly, and we should be able to answer any questions that people have. They can call and ask for us and talk to us about it. But I think the best place probably to start is our website, where we've spent a considerable amount of time making sure that we've tried to answer every question that people may have.
Thank you, Mike. Eric, do you have anything to add?
No, Mike covered pretty much everything there. I will mention he was talking about how far along we are on the Chesapeake Bay Pollution Reduction Plan. We currently have hit 50% of the pounds reduction. So we have about 50% remaining, which we have tied up in those 4 projects, which are currently under design. So
fantastic. That's great to hear.
We do have the equipment. We are staffing up with the revenue coming in. We are adding positions. So if anybody's interested in working at the Water and Sewer Authority, we're just like everybody else. We're looking for people. I see the whole crew smiling on this. We're looking for people to add on who are interested in the working. I can tell you it's a good place to be career-wise.
It's a good company to work for.
We try to value our employees.
I know, and you do. You really do. Randy, Vince, do you have any questions?
Yeah, go ahead, Vince.
Thank you. Mike, Eric, welcome. Good to see you guys and talk to you again. I pulled up your website here, and for people that I'm sure have a lot of questions, I noticed that the tab I went to right at the top of your page was the stormwater tab. And then there was three other tabs on the top right-hand corner that I could go to that would allow me to kind of see what's going on, whether it be non-residential, residential. If people want to see the map that they have, that you guys have available, it's great. What I was trying to get a handle on is for the businesses that want to have their property, I guess, assessed, to put in BMPs, best management practices, to try and go after some of the credits that you have. Now, I know you guys have a link on the website here. It says flat out your credit program will be posted at WMWA dash, da, 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 da. But as far as somebody coming out on site and saying, well, you have 2,000 square feet of impervious space. The calculation for credits is based upon a 6-inch per hour rainstorm. So based upon that, you would need a water retention area of, for example, 1,000 gallons or whatever volume it may be to be eligible for up to the maximum allowable credit of what is 50% of the bill. How would somebody go about getting that information or getting a hold of somebody at the water authority to have them come out and kind of help assist in that assessment?
I'll turn over, that's Eric's department, but it's what I would like to tell you is it's a very simple process. You start with a simple pre-application, and we're always willing to go out and work with people, meet with them if they have questions. But I'll turn it over to Eric to fill you in a little more, because that's what he's been working on.
Thanks.
Yeah, so I'm just going to jump off. You talked about the website and where the information is on there. So our credit policy is included in the stormwater program manual. So that's listed there on our website under the stormwater tab. And it's one of those blue links right off on the right of the screen. It's stormwater program manual. It's actually section 4 in there. And it kind of walks through the whole process. In terms of having somebody come out, take a look at the property, we can do that. We can set that up. Again, it's going to be reaching out to me here at the office, whether that's by phone or by email. And we'll get that coordinated back at the engineering department and take a look at any best management practices that may already be existing on site, review the impervious area if that's the request. I know we've had quite a few different businesses reaching out, questioning our map, which is also available on the website. It's one of those other buttons. It's the stormwater charge map. It shows all the information in terms of what we have classified as impervious area for the non-residential customers. So all of that information is right on the website there. But yeah, our phone number is listed in the program manual and the FAQs on the contact page of the website there. So feel free to reach out. They're going to look to speak to me or somebody else in the engineering department.
Thank you very much.
Yep.
And then
Just one, I think I should just say it. We know that this is a fee that a lot of businesses and other communities don't have to pay. I know we've had to handle that criticism. We understand that, and we understand that it's difficult on businesses. I'm getting a little political here, but we know that it's a fee that other places don't have to pay yet. I think eventually you'll see the majority of the communities with a stormwater fee. So the other thing we hope is that our people understand that these mandates need to take it a little easier on our urban areas, so that we can't keep coming down on the cities and the boroughs to clean up the stormwater, that we need to look to some of our more rural communities and the agriculture to start getting these nitrogen, phosphorus, total suspended solids reductions that actually will help clean up the bay rather than continuing to come to the urban areas. So just wanted to stipulate the technical knowledge that we know it is another fee on businesses. We understand that it's difficult in these times for businesses to pay.
thank you very much. And then I just had one more question, if I may. So I've had people ask me, actually several people ask me, is there anything that the water authority is looking into by way of grants or anything like that from the state level, federal level, county level, whatever it may be, to help offset some of these costs that are going to be placed upon the residents and the businesses?
Yeah, we've been chasing grants. I think you'll know we have two advocacy agencies working for us. We share Tom Keller with you guys, Keller Partners. So they've done a nice job on chasing applications. We currently have them searching for stormwater, water, and sewer. So any way that we can get money in to offset costs for our constituents, we're going to try to do that. We're putting in for some Appalachian Region Commission money. We've put in for some earmarks. We are pursuing every application we can get. We've gotten some ARPA funding from the county. I know we have requests in for you guys for ARPA funding. When we made those requests, we didn't include anything for stormwater at the time, but we do have in for the city of Williamsport Memorial Avenue to adjust a sewer main over there that we're having difficulty with. We have some money in for water projects. So we're going after some ARPA funding at the city level and the county level. And we also at the state level have I'm blanking on the name. It's Todd Brziak who is helping us
Triad
pursue
Strategies.
state grant. Yeah, Triad Strategies, who's helping us pursue some state grants as well. And the Commonwealth Financing Authority has some applications that are coming out now, and they're also funding the small water program. Also, I believe we should get not an allocation, but those allocations for competitive funding will be out pretty soon.
And specifically for stormwater, I'll jump off on that. I know we put in for the DEP Growing Greener grant. We are still waiting to hear information on that. And just recently, we've worked with John Sander and your team, Delta Development Group, to put in another grant for the same project. So we are actively chasing after grant funding for stormwater, as well as the sanitary and the water systems.
Thank you. I think some people may not necessarily be aware that, you know, these costs are being, you know, these charges we have to come up with, you know, obviously, like to Bonnie's point earlier, you know, this is a federal mandate. We do have to get these nitrogen and suspended solids levels down per the federal requirements for the Chesapeake Bay pollution reduction plan. But then in compounding that cost too, I believe, and Mike or Eric, you could speak to it, is that the federal government now has required that, and forgive me, I'm not sure exactly what level of boundary level it may be for a governing body, but in our case, our entire stormwater system has to be replaced 100% every, I think it's 75 years now. Is that what it is now?
So what we try to do is we want to keep proper infrastructure working for the city, for the Williamsport city residents and surrounding areas, people who we service. We try to base a capital replacement plan on the useful life of the equipment we're putting into it. So usually, generally, a pipe will give you 75 to 100 years. So we are trying to do 1% of our system annually, water, sewer, and stormwater. So that's kind of what we're shooting at right now, is to get 1% of the system replaced each year. That way, you replace it every 100 years, which is still a long cycle, but it's also has an easier time paying for it for the residents. So we're trying to make the balance of making sure everything works properly at the lowest cost to the residents possible, because we know that the tax rates for the people in the center of the county, the Williamsport to Boys Town, South Williamsport, Loyalsock are higher than some of the townships. So trying to get the best rate for the people we can.
Okay.
Hopefully I explained that properly there.
No, you're trying to replace 1% a year over the next 100 years. So it's going to be spread out. So we don't get hit with it all at once. I think that was a very good explanation. Thank you. Bonnie, Randy, that's all I have.
Randy, you're up.
Yeah, no, that was all very good stuff. You know, I have confidence in your dedication to getting the job done, but also your sensitivity to businesses who are going to pay the lion's share. And that, you know, there's things that we as a city need to do. And this just does not affect the city of Williamsport. It's the whole system. So, you know, but we can do to do what we can as a city to help those in our political geographic boundary find ways to mitigate that cost. I just have a functional question. Is this going to be a separate bill sent out, or is it going to be on the water sewer bill?
For most of the people, they're going to see it as a line on their water and sewer bill.
Okay, so that makes it simple. You just pay it all one fell swoop and we're done with it. Okay.
And we do offer now online bill pay. So
Yes, you do. Yeah.
which is a nice thing that we're trying to do for residents. I know it was one of our most requested items was, can you get to monthly billing? Because it helps us
Sure.
to budget. We had, and I know times are tough for people. We know this comes at a difficult time with inflation going crazy like it is and people trying to pinch pennies. So we have switched to monthly billing so people can budget. We've made that transition, and then the stormwater bill will be added right onto that. So
Okay, great. Thank you.
If there's no other questions, I want to thank Mike and Eric very much. I hope everybody realizes what a fantastic job the Water Authority does to keep we have the best water in the state. That's all I can say. I mean, if you go anywhere else, our water is the best. And you know, they're constantly working on making sure everything is working the way it should. And I know a lot of people appreciate this. And if they don't, they should go to other areas and see what other areas put up with.
That's true.
And it's also cost. You keep everything as cost effective as you possibly can. And I know we on council appreciate that. We really do. And I want the public to understand that you work very hard and diligently to make sure that that's done that way. So thank you.
Absolutely. I appreciate the kindness, the kind compliments. We do have excellent water. That's partly the function of the foresight of our board and city council members of getting us a private watershed. Our water rates are very, very low. Our sewer rates are right in the middle. So I know when people think, oh, these rates are high, actually for our community, for the quality of water we get, the pricing on it is very, very low. And then when we take it back to treat it as sewage, we're right in the middle of the game as far as prices. We're not high, we're not low, we're right at an average rate for sewage treatment. So again, thank you for the kind words.
Well, thank you very much for being here and letting the public know exactly where we stand and how it's done. And I think, knowledge is powerful. And I think this helps the public. I really do. We're going to jump around a little bit here on the agenda to keep this on the same track. John Sanders, you're here, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So let's jump to number 3, since we were talking about the Chesapeake Bay. Let's do that one at this point and keep the subject the same.
No problem. So what you have before you is in regards to Chesapeake Bay pollution reduction plan, as Eric noted earlier, Mr. Smith-Gaul. I'm looking to go after a grant with Delta and Teresa from Delta Development through DCNR for the remaining BMPs to be installed in the city that would satisfy all of our loading requirements for the pollution reduction plan. As mentioned earlier, the Water Authority has hired a design firm to design these the infiltration basins, and I'm going after the costs for construction. So the grant amount we'll be going after is $234,000. It does require a 50% match of also obviously $234,000 by the city. We have 2 or 3 years left to get these installed, or else we're in trouble with the Environmental Protection Agency and DEP. So let me know if there's any questions.
Vince, Randy, any questions? There's no questions.
Well, we have a local match. So what's the funding going to be for that?
I don't have a item for the funding at the moment. All I can say is we are required to do this by law. So if we get $234,000 from state, we have to match it with our local monies. I'm not sure. I guess a good option would be the $18 million we have left to spend from ARPA. We had a viable option, but I don't have a match location.
All right.
So
And sorry to jump in on it. We could also match that out of the charges for sewer. So we could use our capital funds that we budgeted for in the stormwater program to match that as well, I suspect.
Okay. All right.
So what you're saying, John, is this has to be, the resolution has to come before the cart comes before the horse at this point, just to make sure the resolution's out there.
This piece of paper just says that we're going after the grant, and if we get the grant, we'll match it with the local match, and then this gets hand delivered, or not delivered, but emailed to Teresa. Teresa will submit for the grant, and we have a meeting end of this week with DCNR in regards to this grant. So,
Okay, great.
Well, it sounds
Easy enough.
yes, ma'am. Yes, sir.
That Mike, if you ever want to jump in and offer to pay for more of our stuff, please don't apologize. Feel free to.
we're all for that one. That's for sure. But again, here we go. It's a mandate that has to be done. And And sometimes you sit there and you shake your head. It's like, where's everybody supposed to get all the money from to do all these mandates? You know, it's
Well-
overwhelming at times. It really is. But again, we've been talking Chesapeake Bay pollution reduction for how many years? And I mean, we do as much as possible in the city end as far as keeping track of things. And but again, it's an ongoing process. And I don't think it's ever going to go away. I really don't.
And I just want to add to that, at this point in time, we are required to build these items in the city. So unfortunately, it's a requirement.
Yeah. So that is what it is. If there's no other questions, we don't take a vote on these things anymore. And I'm sure we'll be discussing this on Thursday. Next item on the agenda, John, don't go anywhere because now we'll jump up to number 2, an update on the splash pad, which I think saw the pictures. They look fantastic, but I'll let you discuss it.
Sure. Splash pad is nearly complete, actually. We had 2 fantastic contractors, one Landserv out of Boalsburg, Aqua Underground out of Georgia. They came up and they constructed the splash pad very quickly. The only remaining items are connectivity of the electrical system to a nearby pump house, which is happening I think it might even happen today. If not, it's this week. Also, it's just prettying up the area with topsoil, seed and mulch, actually. Beyond that, the splash pad itself, there's a little 8-foot wide trail to it that'll connect to the walking trail nearby there. Beyond that, the splash pad itself will be done. Next spring, we have it set up for Vortex, which is all paid for, by the way. Vortex's team comes to the city and trains Streets and Parks staff on operation and maintenance of the system. So I know a lot of people over there.
Kayla's gonna be part of that, John, right?
I believe so, but Kayla doesn't report to me, so I'll let Mr. Livermore talk about that.
Okay.
Yeah, it's gone rather quickly. It's a huge, I guess, team effort between the mayor wanted it, made it happen. The water authority came through with the water and the stormwater connections very, very quickly. The fire department provided some water during construction, and Streets and Parks will deliver all the parts that we bought under a separate contract from one side of town to the other, and it's gone extremely smoothly. So.
And I think you should also thank Lycoming College, the way they helped you out.
Lycoming College, that's right. The random $80,000 filtration system came on a day earlier than was expected, and we got it from the west side of town to the east side of town with a little help from Lycoming College's construction crews.
Which we all appreciate. We appreciate everything that everybody has contributed to the process of getting this splash pad. And I think everybody's excited to see how this is how the public's going to receive this come the spring. And I know I can't wait to see what the reaction of the public's going to be. Vince, Randy, do you have any questions?
No.
Not at this time.
Yeah.
Okay, John, thank you very much. Okay.
Okay.
And it looks terrific. Like I said, the pictures look terrific. Haven't been out to see it, but it looks great. Okay, we're going to go now to number 4, resolution awarding construction inspection services for the 4th Street Improvement Project to Larson Design. John, you're up again.
Yes, ma'am. So a few weeks ago, we awarded construction to Hawbaker. And we take a step back. This project was designed by Larson Design Group. And at the time when I hired them for design, we had six proposals for design, which I clearly stated in there I would prefer to have construction inspection with proposals. Two of those proposals had construction inspection, and other firms who we didn't hire, obviously, and also Larson. Larson designed the project, so for them to provide construction inspection would be pretty much seamless since it's the same company. So their fees to provide construction inspection for that project are $29,090. Again, $29,090. The other firm who provided construction inspection services was over $50,000. So this project is starting. There's a long lead time right now on some parts, but we're already getting quite a few submittals for shop drawing review. So they need to be hired to be able to review those. So This is to be paid with the grant money that we got for the project itself or the county local match percentage. Let me know if there's any questions.
Randy, Vince?
I don't have any. No, it's great that everything's come together so well on this.
That's the way I feel. Again, no vote on this, a discussion, and this will be presented on the agenda at Thursday's meeting.
I wanted to add one more thing, Bonnie, if I could.
Sure, John.
The next block to the west, I just put that out for design. We have approximately $1.2 million in state grant funding for the next block over, which would kind of surround the whole mixed use area. I just put that out for design for roadway design and also traffic signal work at Mulberry. So that's out to the world, and I have quite a few design firms following it right now. So
Great.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, John.
Good job, John.
Okay, number 5 on the agenda is resolution authorizing the purchase of am I saying this right? BOMAG BF 200 path paver utilizing ARPA funds. Scott Livermore, this is up to you.
What you have before you, resolution.
Can't hear you, Scott.
Can you hear me?
Okay, go now. Let's see.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, you're a little bit muffled, but that's okay. I think we can hear you.
New system, trying to figure it out.
Okay,
A little closer, Scott.
yeah. I think
Uh,
that's a song, isn't it? Come on, closer.
I'll just talk louder. So it's a resolution to purchase a paver for the streets and parks here in Williamsport. What this is a paver. This will give us the ability to pave and repair smaller road surface in our alleys throughout our city. That's not, obviously everybody knows, in dire need of repairs. This is an expensive piece of equipment, obviously, as you can see, but it's an important piece in order to do the job the right way, what we need to do. This paver also has the ability to pave 3.5 feet wide out to 11 foot. It's, like I said, it's not a big paver, but it's enough to do our alleys and small roadways. By getting the ability to pave 3.5 feet, our parks will also benefit from this too, as well as not just streets and other things of that nature. We can do our walking paths throughout Shaw Park, any parks that we need to get updated for ADA requirements, whatever that may be. This will be funded through ARPA, the Public Works and Future Projects. I did have Boston review this, and Claire Collins, our UHY advisor. So the other thing is the cost of the paver you see is $225,326.30. I did ran some numbers on to rent this machine. My anticipation of try to get this machine to keep running for about 20 weeks out of the summer. If we would run it for 20 weeks, it would cost us about $70,000 a year just to rent. So I think better bang for the buck within 2 years, 3 years, we'll have it paid for by just purchasing this piece of equipment. It's roughly around $700 a day to have. The cost of us to put the material down, it's going to be around $5.20 a square yard. Our contractors right now roughly around $8 a square yard to put it down. So we are cheaper in that aspect as well. Is there any questions?
Randy?
Scott, would there, if we had this, would there be any opportunity for us to use it in other places where we could get some reimbursement, say a neighboring community that needed something small done?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I work with Laurel Sock, and anytime that coming, we need something, we go back and forth, share pieces if need be. Yes, that's it. That's definitely an option.
And say the parking authority, some of their lots, they get potholes in them and everything.
Yep.
we could do that and they could reimburse us some on that. And
Yeah, absolutely. There's an opportunity there for sure for that. Yep.
yeah, okay. I don't have any other questions.
Vince. Vince, do you have any questions?
No, I was kind of hoping Mike might chime in and offer to pay for this. No, I don't have any, I don't have any questions. I definitely see that we have a need for it. Like to Scott's point, a lot of these pavers out there are, 96 inches, 120 inches. I mean, they're wide for what we're using for smaller trails and paved walkways. This is certainly going to be a lot better.
Well, on that point, it's like, that's why I did a lot of research on what paver would benefit us the most. We're not out of it. We're not in it for profit. We're in it for maintenance. But I seen this paver. This is a new paver that Bowman came out with I can kill two birds with one stone. A lot of pavers, you just can't throw in the park and paver because a lot of minimums are 8 foot wide.
Mhm.
So this is one reason why I went with this. And obviously this is the cheapest one. Obviously you get the bigger pavers, you're talking $500,000 for them too. But yes, it's a pretty penny, obviously, as we can see. But I think it's in the best interest of what we need to do in order to get things done the right way and more efficient. I can get a lot more alleys done with this versus what we have is a drag box right now that it does an okay job, but it's not, we have to continue to go back to fix these alleys year after year. And my goal is to not have to do that as much. Once we hit an alley, it can sit there, be maintained after 10 years. It depends on the truck traffic and vehicles in it. But the objective is to not have to go back as much once we get in there and do the job the right way.
Hey, it sounds good. We just have to work out the paperwork through the ARPA funds because this was not put on the any of the line items, Scott, from what I understand, right?
No, that's why I just requested for the ARPA funds of public works and future projects for now. Yep.
Okay, this is gonna have to go, make sure the mayor is aware of this,
He is.
what we're doing with this.
Yep.
Okay. Okay, this will be a discussion, another discussion for Thursday night. No other questions then? The last thing on the agenda is any related items. Does anybody have anything they would like to add to this meeting? If not, we will take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. See you all on Thursday, except for Mike and Eric, but we thank you very much, guys.
Yep. Take care, everybody.
Thanks.
Bye.